commentary team. He was one of our guests last week on Mobile Sport, former Australian captain Wayne Pearce. And tonight, once again, as the fireworks go up, he's joined by our commentator, Dave Moore.
It was a lovely sunny day in Brisbane today, so everyone decided to take to the streets. And again, we saw these British supporters who seemed to somehow get some kettle drums somewhere between Sydney and Melbourne. I think they've walked from Melbourne to Brisbane playing them too. Most of them lost their voice already, but they certainly entertained people throughout the afternoon in Brisbane. I think most of them, though, have got voiceless now. They've certainly quietened down as the evening's gone on.
I'm sure we'll hear some "Here we go" before too long. Don't worry about that.
We will if they score the first try. Well, here's the first hiccup of the evening. They forgot to send the sand out. Here's the sand boy coming out now. And Mal Meninga, who's going to start this match, going to kick off. Australia to start the game. And what a night it is for Mal Meninga. He's just been presented to Reg Gasnier, the man who held the all-time record of 36 test matches. Meninga tonight playing his 37th test match for Australia. He's the skipper. And here it is, the start of this decider, the KFC battle for the Ashes. And it's Shaun Edwards who has the first touch. And Betts brings it back to the quarter line for Great Britain. 20 metres out, a fire at dummy half. Great Britain bring it back through Skerritt. And very quickly the Australian forwards up there, and it's already, I think, Wayne, a greater commitment in defence. What was missing seemingly at Princes Park last week.
Australia don't want to let Great Britain get the psychological advantage earlier. They're hitting hard in defence, and they'll keep that up for as long as they possibly can. As
Great Britain run it out from their own quarter line, but Australia moving up in 2s and 3s in the early moments of this battle of the Ashes decider. This is Clark. He scored the first try in last week's upset at Princes Park. It's a dry track here tonight, and so Great Britain certainly haven't got conditions, ideal conditions to suit, and already Steadman sends a missile deep inside Australians' territory. That'll do Ettinghausen's confidence the world of good. He took it on the full and has come back to within 12 metres of the halfway.
And that was a great chasing game there from the British as well. They're keen. Steadman's got a big kicking game, but that's only as good as the chasing game.
Good run from Clyde as as Australia bring it back towards the halfway line. Walters, the dummy half, finds Sirinen. And Sirinen, who was most disappointed with his game last week.
Have a look at the size of the 5 metres as well. I mean, referee Dennis Howe's got him back about 10 metres at the moment. He's looking to open this game up already.
And here's a man who they're expecting big things from tonight, Daly, and that's a big kick to start with. Will it go touch in goal? It'll go pretty close to it. Or did it touch the line or not? The referee, he looked at the touch judge. I thought the touch judge waved that it did go touch in goal, and the referee's allowed him to run it back into the play. I'm certain the referee indicated it went touch in goal.
Must have only been a whisker in it. From here, it looked, although we're a fair way away, it looked like it went very, very close.
This is Powell playing in Guernsey 3 with New Love in 4, the same way they measured up last week. As now it's Great Britain bringing it out from their own quarter line again.
And have a look how quick they're trying to play the ball. They really realise they've got to match Australia in the play the ball area if they're going to win this game. They'll be struggling to get to their feet quickly all match. And a big Skerritt here struggling to get up, but they'll be looking for quicker play the balls than that.
Andy Platt, who had a mighty game in Melbourne, brings it 32 metres out. Last tackle against Great Britain. This is Steadman again. Again, he measures off with a kick, looking for the gap between the winger Willie Kahn, who takes it superbly, and Ettinghausen. He couldn't do it, and Kahn, playing his first test match against Great Britain, quickly plays it to Langer. This is Ettinghausen. Good defence from Great Britain.
Oh, big hit. Who was that man there? It looks like it was Andy Platt again, was it?
Yes, Platt was in it again.
He's the best hitter in the British side.
Walters from dummy half. That's a good run. He's pinched a good 8 metres there.
He's no small hooker. He weighs in at 14.5 stone for a hooker. They've got a big pack, the Aussies.
Now, Daly, plenty of time to measure where he's going to put this kick. Puts it behind Steadman. Beautifully taken. That really wasn't easy to take. Running back over his shoulder, looking back towards that giant scoreboard. That can't be easy. And he took that superbly, and a good chase from Australia.
Well, it's a great start by the Aussies. They're putting plenty of pressure on the Great Britain side. The Pommies forced to play inside their own quarter for most of this first 5 minutes. They really need a good kicking game, a good chasing game, and somebody's got to crack. A penalty or a drop ball's got to happen soon.
Betts to play it, 12 metres out. This is Dermott. Edwards can't break through, almost out to the quarter line. That could have almost been a penalty against Walters. Billy McGinty. Great tackle from Daly.
Fantastic. Laurie Daly is the strongest 5'8" in the world. Make no bones about that.
What a great tackle that was. Well, he wants to make up for what he called a very disappointing game in Melbourne. That's a good kick from Steadman. He's found the gap between Eddinghausen and Kahn. Eddinghausen brings it back at a fire. And good run from Eddinghausen. New love there also to affect the tackle.
Yes, E.T. getting involved early. He realises that he's got to make up some lost ground in that second test match, and he's making no mistakes whatsoever.
And Brad Fittler, who sadly last week pulled out of the Australian side because of the death of his best mate. And here's a lovely break from Langer. And good work from Lindner, gets it to the halfway line, backing up well. Langer again. Langer makes great ground. Another 11-metre gain.
And once again, a quick play of the ball there. The Pommies still going back in defence. They were caught off guard.
Meninga. The long pass finds Daly. In turn, this is Clyde. Clyde offloads out. Look at Fittler. He's got a strong fend, but New Love equal to the task with the fire. Last tackle against the Aussies. Kahn. Daly. Up goes the kick. It's coming down about 12 metres out. Plenty of pressure on Steadman. He drops it. Is it Australia's ball? I think Australia have got it back. They have. This is pressure for Great Britain.
Great chasing there by Willie Kahn, and Australia have got him rattled out wide. Penalty.
Well, Australia may have wanted to play on then, Wayne.
They had him rattled out wide. They had a three-man overlap.
Now, surely they're going to have the kick at goal now that they couldn't take the initial advantage. And Meninga coming up to have the shot. Remember, he also only needs 9 points to pass Graham Langland's all-time record of Anglo-Australian Test. Here's the KAFC replay. Steadman goes high, just slowly misjudged the take. Great work from Steve Walters initially, and then it was Kahn who fell on the loose ball. Yeah,
he was looking at Steve Walters coming through there. Steadman out the corner of his eye. He wasn't focused on the job at hand, but great work by Kahn. A little bit of a rough up too by Sean Edwards in that play of the ball.
So Mal Meninga, who tonight plays his 37th Test match for Australia, a man who's done it all, the Australian captain, and with a chance with 9 points to go past Graham Langland's Anglo-Australian point-scoring record of 104. 13 metres out, an easy kick, but one that he must kick to get some confidence. It's there. 2 points to Mal Meninga. He goes to 98 points, just 6 behind Langland's. And Meninga 1 from 1, and on the KFC scoreboard, it's Australia 2 leading Great Britain 0. And Meninga's a man who can kick 7 out of 7, but he can get none out of 7. He's a man who really does kick with confidence, as most of them do, but he seems to kick, Wayne, with more with confidence than anything else.
Yeah, true. If he puts his first goal over, then he's usually on this game for the night. But he struggled earlier on this season. In fact, he struggled last week. But that's a good sign for him and the Australians.
Of course, they've also got Willie Kahn, who's adept at goal kicking. Laurie Daly can fit in, but none of them really kick regularly for their club sides.
No, there's a few part-timers out there, but Mal's the man really that has to shoulder that burden tonight.
And here's this will be interesting to see how long they take over the kick. Steadman's going to take the kick off. We'll come to that in just a moment as Steadman restarts play after the penalty goal from Meninga put Australia in front. Eddinghausen, that looked to be a forward pass to Surinam. A good run from the big fellow and great defence from Great Britain, just 11 metres out. There's been a lot of talk, especially from the Australian manager, Jeff Carr, that Paul Eastwood soaked up more than 14 minutes last week of the Test match in kicking for goal to try and slow the game down to allow Great Britain more time to recover.
Well, that's up the referee, Dennis Hale, to just blow time off. As soon as he starts to stretch the kicking time, then he blows time off and it doesn't eat into the actual playing time.
Getting under the high tackle was Langer. That was McGinty who went over the top and missed. Steve Walters out from dummy half. Didn't see him run that much last week. This fellow will get plenty of reaction up here. Michael Hancock plays for the Broncos, and look at him go. Gee, he's a strong fellow to bring down.
They tell me he benches more than anybody in the Brisbane club, so that gives you an idea of just how strong he is. Very, very hard man to stop.
Daly measuring off the kick again, in behind a fire, in the gap between a fire and Steadman. And there's plenty of green and gold jumpers down there, and Willie Kahn's there. And a fire has to get rid of the ball quickly to Steadman, but Langer's there.
I've got to say it's been an immaculate start by the Australians so far.
And there it is, not much at the moment in possession. Great Britain having the ball for just a couple of more tackles than Australia in this early part of the game. As Great Britain have to run it out from their own end of the park yet again. And this has been a much better start for Australia. This is very much the same sort of start they got at Leeds 2 years ago, Wayne, when they had to win the match and they came away with the 14-0 win. Yeah, exactly. As I said just a moment ago, it's been an immaculate start. Australia's only had there's not been much difference in the possession as the player knocked down in back play. Not much difference in possession, coming together. But it's the field position that's the big bonus for the Aussies as Eddinghausen clears the ball again. And 5 red, white and blue jumpers in front of him. A great chase from Great Britain. There was no one back with Eddinghausen then to lend assistance. As Australia now have to run it out from their own end of the park. It's been played at a frantic pace, and a few of the Aussies already walking. They're sort of taking their time to settle this one up. Oh, and that's the first mistake from the Australians. And Lindner it was who knocked on, and Schofield makes a half break. The little chip and chase. The referee says play on. No, he's waved play on. And Big Silverton's back there to fall on the ball and force the line drop out. Well, Australia's got to be very, very lucky there. I thought Schofield might have been hit after he kicked it. Let's have a look at it on the replay. And here's Newlove picking it up. It's Schofield. He comes off the left foot, quickly on the inside. The Australians going across. That should have been a penalty. And no wonder Schofield was upset, but Dennis Hale immediately said play on. Yeah, Paul Harrigan, no doubt. He took Schofield out after the ball was kicked. He wasn't committed to that tackle. The drop out from Daly over the halfway. Stedman brings it back. And that's Meninga and Carney runs into. Wished he hadn't now. 32 metres out from the Australian line. A fire comes across field. And Khan's there to wrap him up again. Dermott. Edwards. Now back on the inside. Clark has found Betts. Clark's now decided to play without the headgear. Edwards comes very quickly the short side. He got away from Langer. Sean Edwards just outside the quarter line. Yes, now given a bit of field position, we'll see just what these English forwards are made of, just how they can use this ball. McGinty, 22 metres out, penalty against Australia. And this will see Eastwood come up and have his first shot of the afternoon. Yeah, that one against Paul Harrigan for not allowing the English player to get up and play the ball. They're trying to slow the game down somewhat, the Australians. As we can have a look at the replay here, we'll see Paul Harrigan in the headgear, just leaning over the English player. Was it Lazarus? Yeah, both got headgear on. It is Lazarus, Glenn Lazarus. He was leaning over the English player, Billy McGinty, and the Englishman receive a penalty. The thing is that both the Australian props are wearing headgear, and now Clark's decided to take his off for Great Britain. And Paul Eastwood, the man who's done the kicking so well at Princes Park in Melbourne last week, is a big giant of a lad for a winger, playing his 11th Test match tonight, and with a chance to level the scores here in this KFC battle for the Ashes. And he plays for the whole club, which I believe Roy Simmons is venturing over there, the ex-Penrith skipper, venturing over there to have a go at the coaching job. So Paul Eastwood will be working with Royce in the near future. Of course, Paul was coached previously by Brian Smith and Noel Cleal in the last few seasons. Strong Aussie influence over there. And the referee has called time off now. He waves it back on. You might hear the crowd booing. That's what they're booing about, that Eastwood's wasting too much time. It's not a hard kick for him. He struck them so beautifully at Princes Park in difficult conditions last week. The chance to make it 2-2 here at Lang Park in Brisbane. He's got it. 2 points to Great Britain. And on the KFC scoreboard, Eastwood has 1 from 1, and it's Australia 2, Great Britain 2. As Australia now have to bring the ball back to the halfway line for the restart. Yeah, well, that's a big boost for the English side as well. That's the first time they've been up inside the Australians' quarter, managed to get 2 points on the board, so that would have done wonders for their confidence as well. As Great Britain bring it back through Betts. And hasn't he been a workhorse so far in this match? There's been 15 minutes of the match gone, and Betts has been in everything. Skerritt, taken by the opposite number low. That was Lazarus. Sirinen over the top. Oh, knock on, and this will be the scrum right on the quarter line. Dermott, not quite sure which way to go. I think he was thinking where to pass more so than picking it up on the KFC replay. He was going to go Sean Edwards' side of the field. Got to grab hold of the football first, and this is going to be pressure for Great Britain. Yeah, and on the other side of the coin, that's the mistake the Australians have been waiting for. The first blunder, but real blunder by the Pommies. Fittler! He can step, this fellow, as well as being a giant fellow. Daly. Clyde. Offloads to Lindner. He's only 9 metres away. And they've got numbers out wide to the right. Walters. Out it comes to Harrigan. Harrigan decides to take them on. The one-handed pass found Langer. Daly now with it. Daly offloads to Meninga. Meninga decides to go to Khan. Oh, good defence from Great Britain. He's still only a couple of metres away. But Australia can swing it back the open side again. Steve Walters on his own. Almost caught them. Only a couple of metres out from the Great Britain line. Daly, the long pass finds Langer. Langer, the little grubber kick into the in-goal area. Going back as Edwards, and he has to very quickly kick it over the dead ball line as Linden was coming like an express train. And play will restart with the line dropout on the KFC replay.
Yeah, Alan Langer here had an option of passing out wide. He had numbers. He elected to put the little one through. He was taken out of play. Well, that was touch and go. I think that was fair enough to play on. Sean Edwards had it covered, almost made a meal of it. Bobby Linden was chasing through, but Edwards managed to put the ball dead.
The restart, a mighty dropout, well over the halfway line. And Sirenen's back there, and with a full head of steam, let's see what he does. Good run from Sirenen. 33 metres out now from the Great Britain line. Clyde bumps out of the couple.
Yeah, the Englishmen will have to start wrapping these players up. They can't afford to let the Australians bounce off, or they will throw the ball. Oh, big hit there.
Harrigan going without the football. And so a scrum going down just outside the quarter line. The KFC replay.
Dennis,
great tackle from Betts.
Dennis Betts up under the rib cage, and that ball just popped out like a greasy piece of soap.
Edwards. Schofield. Eddinghausen there, trying to give the leg a bit of an extra twist. Good tackle on Clark. It was a real good tackle by Linder. Mal Reilly, the Great Britain coach with Maurice Lindsay. And now a knock on from Great Britain. I wish they'd kept the cameras on their face a bit longer to see the horror then. As Sirenen comes up. He's playing a lot better tonight too, isn't he?
He's been the most involved Australian forward along with Bradley Clyde so far in this match. But the Australians starting to play with more confidence. They're moving this ball around and looking dangerous.
Eddinghausen. 32 metres out from the Great Britain line. Meninga. This is Lazarus. A couple of metres just outside the quarter line. Steve Walters. Harrigan holds onto it this time. And he's 21 metres short of the Great Britain goalposts. Steve Walters going the same way. Langer. Clyde. Clyde can't keep the movement going. Last tackle against Australia. What's the option here?
Well, Stedman dropped the last one. Let's see if they put him under pressure again.
Daly. Daly decides the little chip and chase, and it's going to be a penalty because he was taken out. Penalty in front of the sticks. And Dennis Hale on the KFC replay. Here's Langer on the quarter line. Daly decides on the option of putting over the little kick.
The little trip from Dermott it was. He stuck out the little right foot there, and Daly went sailing through the air.
I've seen players sent off for a trip.
Yeah, but it was, well, it was just probably a little one. I've seen them sent off for big ones, but maybe that was just a little toe.
The fella you took over from the Australian jumper got sent off once, Ray Price, I remember, for a trip.
Yeah, exactly.
But Dermott, the offender, and it should cost them 2 points because Meninga's right in front, as you can see. And this will bring up his 100th point in Anglo-Australian Test matches. What a night for him. It could be one of the all-time great nights for him. In front of his home crowd here at Lang Park. Meninga strikes it sweetly, and it's 2 more points to Australia. Australia are back in front on the KFC scoreboard, and Australia with Meninga 2 from 2 are leading Great Britain by 4 points to 2. Meninga brings up a century. He'd get a standing ovation in cricket. I think he deserves a standing ovation anyway.
Yeah, he's come back from injuries. He's come back from broken arms. He's a great player, an inspirational player, having played alongside of him in many, many Test matches. I can assure you, when Mal Meninga is playing well, Australia's playing well.
As Great Britain have to bring it back to the halfway for the restart. And it's a long kick from Stedman. And again, it's the same duo. Eddinghausen, and that again I thought was would have been a forward pass had he let it go.
I thought he had it on a piece of string. I thought he gave it to him, pulled it back.
I think he realised that Sirenen may well have got in front of him. The first one looked dodgy enough. That wasn't a good play of the football. He got away with it. Now Meninga on Newlove. Gee, this fella's impressed me, Wayne Newlove.
Yeah, Paul Newlove, he's got plenty of pace, a very strong player for his size.
Good run from Harrigan. What a good run from Harrigan. He's still going. And a fire who they said couldn't tackle affects the tackle. And Harrigan knocked the little ball on then as he tried to keep his momentum going. There it is. Good tackle from a fire.
Yeah, there's not much Harrigan could have done about that. He wasn't expecting it, but it was a fantastic tackle there by a fire.
See, all those fellas that reckon he's got no defensive skills. He's
not bad from behind, but in front he sends it to get the wobbly boot.
True, but gee, as a captain, you would have been pretty happy with that one because that could have been anything.
For sure.
Great Britain. And again, not much in this game. On the scoreboard, it's 4-2, and as you can see, the possession still just favouring Australia a fraction. But by the time Great Britain complete this set of 6, they'll probably be have had the ball for a longer period than Australia.
Yes, very, very even test match. Not only are the tackles in possession going hand in hand, penalties fairly even, and also drop balls fairly even.
And as you can see, the handling errors are also even at 2 apiece. So there's nothing at all in this match, and it's 4-2. But Great Britain, if they are ever under a lot of pressure, it's normally late in the halves when their fitness just starts to lag a bit. If the big Australian forwards can drag it out of them. It is a warm day here in Brisbane. In fact, it's a very warm night. It's not going to be easy for them. A good kick into the end goal area. Now can Khan bring it back? Willie Khan strong. Willie Khan is very strong, but good tackle from Powell.
That was a fantastic kick. That's the sort of kick that not only the Englishman will be looking for, but also Alan Langer will be looking for later in the match. Edwards there just pops it in goal. He had a great chasing game. Willie Khan, not much he could do about it. He did very, very well to get around a fire, but he slipped on the wet surface, and Darryl Powell made the tackle.
Well, he got away from a fire. He got away from McGinty, and Powell it was who just managed to stop him getting back in the field of play. As the KFC replay showed you, it was a magical kick from little Sean Edwards, who's had to play a lot in the shadow of Andy Gregory. Steadman. Even at Wigan, he plays more 5'8" than halfback, of course, but he's played well in the test and a half so far on this tour at halfback.
Well, he came out to Balmain a few years ago, and he played second fiddle to Gary Freeman as well, and that was just a mark of how well Gary Freeman was playing. But a penalty to the Englishman here.
Against Bob Lindner for not allowing Skerritt to get up and play the football, and now Eastwood will get the opportunity. Well, who is it? It's Lindner who's the last one holding him down. And you can see Dermott obviously trying to referee the game, and on the KFC replay, Dermott won out, and this will be Eastwood having a shot to try and level up. And we might say hello to Gary Freeman and all the New Zealanders, of course. They're in camp in Auckland tonight, preparing for the test match against Papua New Guinea on Sunday afternoon. And, of course, Gary was my co-commentator last Friday night. I can assure you, Gary, it's a lot warmer and nowhere near as much rain in Brisbane tonight.
Yeah, good luck to Gary and the crew. In fact, I was over in Auckland last week watching the telecast, and you guys did a fantastic job.
With these conditions, it is hot tonight, isn't it? Very warm for a winter's evening. It's steamy, in fact, which Brisbane can get. Now, Eastwood, and I noticed Sean McRae, who's one of the Australian trainers on the field, being spoken to by the referee because he was moving around with the bottle, giving the Australians a drink of water in direct line between Eastwood and the goalpost. So I imagine Dennis Hale saying, come on, be a little bit reasonable. And so Eastwood with the chance to make it 4-all with 17 minutes remaining in the first half of this KFC Battle of the Ashes decider. 22 metres out. There it is. It's high, it's straight, it's 2 points. And on the KFC scoreboard, the scores are level again. It's Australia 4, Great Britain 4. 17 minutes remain in the first half.
And we've got one heck of a test match here. The Australians, a quick kick-off. They're looking to try and catch the Great Britain side off guard, trying to catch them out with an error. The Great Britain side, they've just got to settle down, consolidate. This game will open up in the second half. They don't have to put points on the board between now and half-time.
The Australians also, Wayne, trying to make sure more football is played, thinking that they have got a psychological advantage in the fact that they think they're a lot fitter.
There's no doubting that they are. But then again, this atmosphere with so many Englishmen out here, the adrenaline rush could really keep these Englishmen pumping as they make a bad mistake.
And the error made by their captain, Captain Schofield, as Hancock brings it back. Australia now with a chance. Good run from Lazarus and a good tackle from Powell again, who was involved. Harrigan takes it up and Harrigan's knocked it on again.
Well, they just rushed that. It was a matter of Harrigan. He really overran the ball there. He overran the ball. Walters passed the ball slightly behind him. He was never in a position to catch that. A silly mistake by the Australians.
Well, Harrigan's gone without the headgear now, so that makes it a bit easy to determine which is which. And gee, Edwards almost lost that too after they'd won the scrum.
Well, it is greasy out there. We've got to realise that the conditions are a little steamy. There's sweat on the ball as Betts come up with another mistake. And the longer this game goes, the more sweat will be present on the ball, and as a result, it'll become more and more greasy.
Good decision here from referee Dennis Hale. That ball was towed through after Betts knocked it on by an Englishman, and the ball was towed from the 22-metre line. Here it is. Betts comes up. You'll notice him knock it on. Good tackle from the Australians, Sirinen and Walters, and see where it's towed through. Eastwood tows it through, and so the referee brought it back for the scrum, and Meninga, after Australia have won the scrum, almost bursts all the way through. Daly taking it up as Lindner. Lindner pops it out the back, and Eddinghausen's knocked it on, and the scrum will go down 10 metres out.
Dave, we can see just how slippery this ball is becoming with all the sweat on it. The Australians pushing. There's no need to push the ball like that. That was the second tackle. They've got 6 tackles to try and work for something. They're pushing. They're panicking a little bit.
Well, both sides, and what a great tackle that was. Daly on Schofield. Scully will feel that one.
Scully won't be running straight again.
19 metres out. As Great Britain run it back to the quarter line. Edwards has to dash into dummy half as Dermott is the one who's tackled. Skerritt takes it up. The 2 Australian props in there. In fact, the entire front row when Walters came in to finish it off. And that regarded as a knockback. As Betts brings it up. 14 minutes remaining in the first half. It's Australia 4, Great Britain 4 on the KFC scoreboard. Good kick from Stedman. He was under a bit of pressure. I know it's gone down Eddinghausen's throat, but he did manage to kick at 60 metres.
And it's good pressure by the Australians as well. A great kick, but plenty of pressure out of marker. That's what they've got to try and do to Stedman, because he can kick the ball very long.
And now here's Clyde. Good run from Clyde. He just knocked Sean Edwards straight out of the road. And now Stevie Walters is making a bust. Good run from the hooker. That's because I think Sean Edwards was more worried about trying to get one back on Clyde. As Bradley Fittler makes a good bust. 22 metres out. Langer trying to catch them quickly. Langer the little grubber kick. He was taken out of the play for sure and certain. Penalty to Australia. There was no risk about that. No doubts.
Well, Langer forced that because he took off quickly from dummy half. The British players were on the back pedal, and it was the big number 8. The big number 8, Kelvin Skerritt, who infringed there, took Alfie Langer out, and he's getting a dressing down by referee Dennis Hale.
Well, there was no risk about it. There was a deliberate move to impede Langer's progress, and that's what the rule says.
Yeah,
I know you don't have to get out of the road, but he deliberately made a move to stop Langer's progress to chase that grubber kick.
It's like plonking a block of flats in front of you with Kelvin Skerritt. He's well over 17 stone, the biggest man in the pack, and there was no way Alfie Langer could get through there.
So now Meninga with his hardest kick of the evening so far. He's placing the ball about 10 metres, 15 metres to the right of the uprights and about 17 metres out. It's not a difficult kick, but you always have your heart in your mouth when you're supporting Mal Meninga to kick a goal. On his day, as we've said, he can kick him from all over the park from 50 metres out.
He started well, so obviously his eye's in, and that's one of the most important things with Mal.
But he is kicking at Lang Park, where he's had a lot of experience. Meninga to try and put the Australians back in front with 12 minutes remaining in the first half. Still no tries in this decider in the battle for the Ashes, the KFC battle for the Ashes. Meninga, a study of concentration, puts it straight over the red dot that exists here at Lang Park. And on the KFC scoreboard, Australia back in front. They lead by 6 points to 4. And Big Mal Meninga, playing his 37th Test match for Australia, has kicked 3 out of 3.
And so far, this game has really been like a game of chess. Very much a kick and chase game from the Englishmen. The Australians trying to do the same. Although in the last 5 minutes, we've seen the Australians speed up the play of the ball and dart out of dummy half. That's catching the Englishmen out somewhat.
But again, as was reflected on the scoreboard, there's still not a great deal in this match. Australia having just a little bit less possession than Great Britain, with just over 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Now, this is the period that most people thought that Australia would gain the superiority. It's the period of the game when the Australians expect to get on top. And a good bit of football from Great Britain. The ball towed through from the play the ball. I thought it came off an Australian player's leg. Let's see what's going to happen with the scrum here.
No, it went straight through between the legs there, I think, didn't it? Or what's he ruled? Well, the players arguing.
Yeah, I think for a moment Edwards thought he was going to put the ball in. And I think he is he?
Well, Alfie Langer doesn't agree. Yeah, Edwards' feet.
Well, here's Great Britain right on the boil here with a chance. A couple of handling errors either way. That's a forward pass to Schofield. He was on his way.
Good refereeing from Dennis Hale. It was a good decision.
He was away. It was shut the gate if he'd let it go. Here's Newlove on the KFC replay. As you can see, that angle doesn't seem to show it up, but we'd probably had a better angle than the camera angle, Wayne, but it certainly looked a forward pass from here.
It looked a forward pass from here, yeah.
Meninga runs straight at Newlove. As Clyde brings it up. And Great Britain missing just a couple more tackles than Australia at this stage, but certainly playing much better and far more committed than they were in the first test. Penalty for being inside the 5.
Well, we can see there Billy McGuinness coming in with an elbow with a high shot. That's what the penalty was for.
And the penalty's going Australia's way, 4-2.
And we talked about the missed tackles just a moment ago. The English making quite a few more, well, 7 missed tackles to 3. And a lot of those missed tackles are coming in the play the ball area, the marker area. That's where Australia's gaining an advantage with the quick play the ball.
Now Lazarus takes it up. And Platt's there to put him on the deck, just inside Great Britain territory. 9 minutes remaining in the first half. A great tackle, and he lost the ball again, I thought.
Well, very close, I can assure you. But that's the sort of marker defence they need.
Langer, midway half and quarter line, inside Great Britain's territory. Walters, away it comes to Clyde. I hope for Australia's sake that Paul Harrigan puts a heap of resin on his hands at half-time.
Yeah, he's struggling.
Lindner, within 30 metres of the Great Britain line. Last tackle against Australia. They come the short side through Langer. Langer puts the kick in behind a Fire's wing. Steadman has to go a long way back. And because Khan was applying the pressure, had to tow it over the touch-in goal line. Play to restart with the line dropout.
Mr. Cool, I think they might call Steadman there. Graham Steadman, he just canned it across, had a look over his shoulder to see the players coming through and just casually just flipped it over the in-goal area. And he'll now recommence play with a line dropout.
Might have looked like that to you, but gee, I thought he was hoping and praying the ball would go dead.
I think he was having a look at the bounce, which way the ball would bounce, yeah.
But isn't he a different player to the one that came out and had a season with the Gold Coast a few years ago?
Oh, he's matured somewhat, and according to Morris Lindsay, he is easily the second fastest player in the side, just behind Martin the Fire. They wouldn't want to give him any room to move either, Steadman.
Meninga. Willie Kahn out of dummy half. Great defence from Great Britain. There was no way he was going to get through there. Langer. Eddinghausen knocks it on. And the scrum will go down 10 metres inside Great Britain's territory.
Well, it was a pressure pass there from Alfie. Eddinghausen should have taken it, but the English players were up, in position, and maybe a little bit high, but Eddinghausen was entitled to take that one.
That ball, for a moment, hit Clark's feet and went back towards the centre of the scrum. Eddinghausen affects the tackle on Schofield. Betts, great tackle over the top from Meninga underneath Clyde. Newlove, Schofield. Edwards, Clark. Not being given any latitude tonight. Langer and Daly there to wrap him up. Just inside Great Britain's territory. This is McGuinness. Oh, gee, ran into a hard one there. Sirinen and over the top Harrigan.
He's picked the 2 biggest players in the Australian side to try and run through.
And now a penalty against Sirinen for not allowing McGuinness to get up and play the football.
Yeah, it was good work by Billy McGinney. He copped a hiding in this tackle here. Big hit from Sirinen and Harrigan. And he struggled to get up and play the ball quickly. You can see him trying to get to his feet there. Forced referee Dennis Hale to give a penalty to the Englishman.
I think Sirinen thought that McGinney might have been holding him down. I think that's what he was talking to the referee about. Great kick though from Steadman. And now Great Britain go on the attack. 6 minutes remaining in the first half. 22 metres out from the Australian line. Clark. Good tackle from Sirinen over the top Lindner. In fact, it was Clyde on the quarter line. McGinty, Edwards, a couple of run-arounds, and straight through went Betts, and if the pass had found its mark, Schofield was in under the post.
Yeah, but Dave, that pass was never on. Betts shouldn't have pushed that pass. He's thrown it over his shoulder. It was at best a fluky pass if it had a look at that. Like, I mean, Schofield was offside. If Schofield had taken it, it would have been a penalty for a forward pass anyway. The Englishmen don't have to force these passes. They're in good field position. They've just got to work and work.
Daly, Lindner. Good defence first up from Dermott. Skerritt was the one who came in second. Walters, Harrigan. On the quarter line. Walters well wrapped up by Platt.
Both sides slowed down markedly in the pace of this game. It's been a hectic pace for the first 35 minutes of this first half, and I'm sure they'll both sides will be waiting for, or can't wait until that half-time siren sounds.
Langer decides to kick deep, puts it over Steadman's head. Plenty of green and gold jumpers coming down on Steadman. Langer and also Fittler are there. Away from Fittler, Langer will get him. Langer never misses on a kick and chase.
Very underrated defensive player, Alan Langer. There he is, making a double.
And good football from Steve Walters. Sees Australia come up with the ball right on half-time.
It's on Dermott. Walters into it.
The two hookers are into it in the back play.
Be interesting to see what happens with the penalty here.
Well, both touch judges are in. Let's see what happened. Walters rakes it back.
Well, Dermott's through the first one.
Oh. On the KFC replay, you might have seen it, just out of the corner of the eye, Dermott came in with a haymaker, and then one after the referees tried to split him up.
I think Martin Dermott was a bit disappointed that Stevie Walters raked that ball back, and if the touch judges is on his game, it'll be a penalty to the Australians.
Has to be.
And it is.
Meninga with a chance to equal Graham Langland's Anglo-Australian record of 104 points for this kick. And more importantly, from Australia's point of view, a chance to send the Aussies away to a 4-point lead just before half-time.
A handy 4 points right on half-time, because this match is very, very close. Not much breeze to talk about either, so I suppose neither side will have a breeze advantage in the second half. And it's just a matter of that man there, Malcolm, really trying to get the Pommies revved up and trying to get them to hold more possession. They're throwing silly passes that aren't really on, and they don't need to throw.
So Meninga just outside the quarter line, 15 metres or so in from touch. Look at those legs. How'd you like to be trying to tackle those? You tried it a few times.
Like big eucalypt trees, them ones.
The Australian captain. Incredible atmosphere here at Lang Park. Always is, though, for big football games. Meninga, with just under 3 minutes remaining in this first half of the KFC Battle for the Ashes decider. Plenty of crowd support. Deep in concentration again. It's high, it's straight, it's 2 points. 2 more points to Mal Meninga, who equals Graham Langland's Anglo-Australian record. That's his 104th point in Test matches against Great Britain. Australia lead on the KFC scoreboard 8 points to 4, and Meninga's kicked 4 from 4. He's on song tonight with his kicking boots.
Well, so much for the media criticism during the week of Mal Meninga's kicking game this year. He's been spot on tonight. There hasn't been much wind for him to contend with. That's helped him somewhat, but nevertheless, the pressure of this match, you've got to be a good kicker, no matter what the conditions, under this pressure to handle it.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Australia have the football. They will be very deep in concentration to ensure that they have a good set of 6. And then reef it down Great Britain's end of the park.
I mean, Dave, there's no need to hit it up for 6. I'd be hitting it for say 4 tackles, getting rid of it early before you make any mistakes. The more you play with it in your own area, the more risk you've got of dropping the ball.
Australia just outside their own quarter line. Lazarus. He's done a good job so far tonight. Midway half and quarter line. They'll go quickly here from dummy half through Walters. Walters offloads. Harrigan wasn't expecting it. He did well though to hang on to it, considering the handling problems he's had so far this evening. Quickly it comes the blind side to Langer. Langer quickly changes the direction and then kicks for touch, and he'll find it, I think. Or will he? Yes. Perfect kick.
Super kick there from Alan Langer. He knows this ground back to front. He plays here week in, week out with the Broncos. There's a slight slope away on that corner of the field. The ball, it was dead set on a piece of elastic there, I think.
Tell you what, he'll get a run for Australia as a leg spinner with that too. So Australia will go in at half-time, or they should, unless Great Britain go 90 metres of the football field and score a try from this scrum, because there's less than 17 seconds remaining in the first half. They'll hardly even get time to feed the scrum. As Australia come in and tackle Eastwood, 12 metres out from Great Britain's line, 8 points to 4 the scoreline, and they decide to kick downfield to try and see whether they can use a fire's pace. Willie Cahn's back there, gets a good bounce. Now what will Australia do from here? Willie Cahn, I think, will just accept the tackle. No, he won't. He took a bit of a risk and sent it out to Hancock. Hancock back towards this side of the field. Hancock still going. Hancock decides to run straight at a fire, and he accepts the tackle. No risk involved in Michael Hancock's football. And so at half-time here at Lang Park, in the KFC Battle for the Ashes decider, it's Australia leading Great Britain on the KFC scoreboard. Paul Sirenen, he's had a mighty first half.
Leading the charge for the Australians, 84. Great Britain forced to do 4 more work messages for the second half. And as the Australian Kangaroos come back to the crowd here at Lang Park in Brisbane, let's go back to your commentators for the final 40 minutes.
Holding on to a narrow 4-point lead at half-time, leading 8 points to 4. One change already we've noticed in the second half for the Australian side as Gillespie has come on. It's a matter, really, Wayne, of seeing who he's come on for.
Well, it looks like Paul Sirenen. I can't see Paul Sirenen out there at the moment.
Well, that's who it is, because Clyde's there, Linda's there, Lazarus is there, so is Harrigan and Walters. So Sirenen has had to leave the field at half-time as Great Britain start the game in the second half. Eddinghausen off to Linda. Linda runs back at Betts, who effects a good tackle. And
I dare say Sirenen would be injured as well, because he was one of their top tacklers in that first half. He also had a lot of hit-ups. He was heavily involved. He was plagued with cork thigh masters leading up to the match. Maybe they'd flared up on him.
There's one thing about Gillespie: if he plays anywhere near as well as he did in the first match at the Sydney Football Stadium when he came on as a replacement, and here he is now, he'll certainly be a handful for the Great Britain side.
He's got a huge work rate. He's a very hard and powerful defender. He'll intimidate this Great Britain side.
Bad bit of work then, but cleaned up well by Walters and Daly. 6 to go too, says the referee. So obviously the Great Britain foot was just touching the football.
And Harrigan shed his headgear.
Lazarus out wide, also using headgear in the second half, as Meninga shows the ball and then tries to get on the outside of Newlove. Geez, I don't want to harp on it, but gee, I've been impressed with Newlove throughout the tour. He really has just stuck to his guns.
And at 20 years of age, 7 tests behind him, imagine what future he's got if he continues to stay injury-free.
Here's Gillespie. Gillespie just inside Great Britain's territory. Last tackle against Australia. There's Lazarus. Daly's going to effect the kick. Well inside Great Britain's territory. Stedman will have to go back to the in-goal area to collect this. In fact, it takes that little wobble. He took the off-spin option, Daly, and they're going to restart the football from the centre of the quarter line. Jeff Carr, the Australian manager, Bob Fulton on the walkie-talkie, the Australian coach, high up in the grandstand, the Frank Burke stand, which is the other side of the field from where we're sitting. Eastwood runs it out. Midway half and quarter line inside Great Britain's territory. Sean Edwards, Schofield, the long ball out wide. Newlove, he's lost the football. It's still been knocked back by an Australian. I think some of the crowd thought perhaps that the Great Britain player was offside, but the referee's going to play the original knock-on the KFC replay. There it is, Newlove trying to get the pass away to Betts, couldn't control the football.
And the Englishmen have shown their hand early on in the second half. They are going to throw this ball around, give it a bit more air than they did in the first half. They can't afford to try and take the Aussies on up the middle. They've got to throw the ball around, and they can't afford to wait until too much longer to do that.
That was really the first time in the game we've seen them play to a Fire's wing. Maybe that was deliberately not employed in the first half.
Well, they struggled for field position in that first half. They couldn't use the ball too much, but in the second half, irrespective of where they are, they've got to throw it around.
Gillespie on the quarter line, Great Britain's end of the park. Daly, Meninga takes them on. Meninga, look at him go.
Steam train and a half. It's taken 3 of him, and they've only just managed to stop him.
On the quarter line, it's Langer. Langer thought about the kick. That was well taken by Fittler. Dropped by Clyde. It's loose on the ground. Picked up by Powell for Great Britain.
Darryl Powell's another player who's matured a lot in the last couple of years. He had a season at Balmain about 3 years ago. Played mostly reserve grade, but he's really improved.
Here's a fire. Can he get away? Gets away from Meninga initially, then Daly. But Daly did stop his momentum before Lindner and Khan wrapped him up.
If there's a more exciting player in the game than I'm yet to see him, he's only got to take 3 or 4 paces and the whole crowd raises to their feet.
Look what he did when he was with St George. When he was with East, he was very immature, but when he came to St George, I think he scored 9 tries in his first 7 games, and the Saints won the lot.
Not only is he quick, but he knows how to use that pace. He's got a great in and away. He's got, I suppose, a magic acceleration, and it's no wonder he scores so often.
Last tackle against Great Britain, Steadman, a hurried kick. Eddinghausen, he managed to knock it backwards before he got the good bounce to control it. Runs away from Platt, gets away from Betts. Now he comes at Newlove, gets away from Newlove, offloads to Khan. Khan's over the quarter line. Can he link up with Meninga? He can't. Well, what looked like a dicey situation for Eddinghausen, he did well in. Toe throw in to play the ball. 6 to go as Eddinghausen, if he could link up on this side of the field, there was a huge overlap. He couldn't.
Yeah, that was good work there by Gary Schofield. Now the Australians are forced to regroup. They've got a few numbers out wide, but Alan Langer decides to go up the middle. There's no need for the Aussies to throw around just at the moment. They'll play a much more conservative game than the Englishmen in the second half.
And there's one player that only knows one way to go, David Gillespie. And he's often come on as a reserve, and I've always felt he's been more effective, been used in that role. Good run from Harrigan. Langer holds the pass up. Clyde's gone straight through. He's still going. Takes on Steadman. Gets away from Steadman. Can't link up with Langer. Great football from Eastwood, who really did wrap him up. Last tackle, penalty.
Well, what's happened to the sin bin?
Well, that surely could have been employed then. Or is he just loath to use it in a test match? Australia decide to play on. They decide to take the option of the quick tap. And Lindner is only 8 metres short. Meninga it was who said to Alfie Langer, let's go straight and hard. And he's almost got over the goal, over the stripe to score himself.
Well, there's numbers out the left out here if Alfie wants to use it.
It comes to Langer. Langer decides to go on his own. Links up with Harrigan. Harrigan can't continue it. He's only 2 metres short. Walters in a dummy half. Langer, Daly, the little grubber kick. It came up an Englishman's feet, then picked up by Eddinghausen, but the referee hasn't ruled 6 to go.
Well, he's ruled the Australians kick the ball straight into the Englishman's feet.
And now it comes away to Daly, and Daly will score. What an incredible try. Brad Fittler, magical hands from Brad Fittler. Daly scores the try. A bit of arguing going on between Gillespie and Eastwood, and I dare say Gillespie probably last words were, have a look at the scoreboard, pal, because it's a try to Laurie Daly. Well, what magical hands from that man in the centre there, Brad Fittler. The KFC replay. Here it is. Daly's kick, ruled deliberately kicked into the Englishman's legs. Eddinghausen picks it up. Now look at Fittler. Fittler goes from dummy half. Now Daly still on the ground. Was this the set move that they use at Canberra a few times? Brilliant hands from Fittler. Magically picked up by Daly. Try.
Yeah, it's this big step from Bradley Fittler. He's very, very hard to contain. For a bloke of 15.5 stone to step like that, Laurie Daly, that's the magic hands. He's very, very strong, very hard to contain in that position. And what a bonus for Australia, 12 points to 4.
of Laurie Daly. This fellow still hasn't turned 21 yet. Yes, he has, but he's only a youngster. He's turned 21 during the Kangaroo Tour, but this is his 10th test. Many say that he will become the new king of Australian Rugby League, wearing the former King's number 6 jumper.
Well, he was State of Origin skipper this year and did a fantastic job.
I think the Lang Park crowd have already taken him on as the king of Lang Park.
They've adopted him. Hasn't taken them long.
The Emperor definitely belongs these days to Alfie Langer, I think, but maybe they've given Laurie a new mantle after that try. And is that the try that has broken that team spirit? Meninga. A chance to become the all-time greatest Anglo-Australian point scorer, to move ahead of Graham Langlands. He struck them well tonight. As Meninga pushes it awfully out to the right. And he can do that at times. But he's still got Australia in a good position. He's kicked 4 from 5, and on the KFC scoreboard, Australia have skipped away to lead Great Britain by 12 points to 4. And that's going to be hard for Great Britain to haul back 8 points the way this game's being played at the moment anyway.
And the British haven't been playing all that badly in the second half, but the Australians, they've come out after half-time. They haven't made any mistakes, and it's a matter of whether or not the Englishmen can draw some inner strength from somewhere, because their confidence will be somewhat sapped after that.
And of course, as we've said all along, it's a warm night here at Lang Park, and Australia probably feel fairly confident. But in the last 10 minutes or so, that ball popped out the back of Lazarus, and Fittler somehow was Johnny on the spot again.
Well, that's a bit of luck that avoided them in Melbourne, so it's about time the luck has changed.
As Australia bring it out through Lazarus. Walters, Langer. Quick hands, here's Fittler again. Fittler's busted them again. Fittler throws it over the top. Meninga comes back on the inside. It's Lindner. Lindner still going. Can't keep it going on the outside. Meninga says, let's go the open side. On the quarter line, it's Langer. There's plenty of problems here. Oh, Langer can't keep going. He slips over on this greasy surface. What will Australia do here on the last tackle? Daly screaming for it. Daly wants the shot at field goal. Daly pops it up. I think it's there, no! For a fleeting moment, Daly, I think, thought it was there.
Did you think it was there, or you're hoping it was there, Dave?
I looked high at Laurie Daly, and he started to jump up, and then look at the little expression. It's only just missed.
Yeah, a little bit of anguish from Laurie Daly there. He was hoping the Aussies could stretch that to a 9-point lead. Would have been very handy.
Still, it was good thinking, and Daly comes in with a giant hit over the top. Started by Gillespie. Great Britain through Clark bring it out, but again Gillespie's there in concert with Lazarus. This time it's Betts, and again Gillespie comes in and does the job. And a couple of replacements now getting warmed up here for Great Britain. Paul Hume and, of course, Carl Harrison, and more good Australian defence. Last tackle against Great Britain, they haven't gained a metre in this set of 6 until that kick from Schofield. And this statistic is starting to have a telling effect. Great Britain starting to miss a couple of tackles, Wayne. Twice as many as the Aussies now, which was the statistic, of course, which was shown up so pointedly in the first match in Sydney. And of course, Australia has made a few more handling errors, but only one more than Great Britain.
I think as far as those missed tackles are concerned, Bradley Fittler, I suppose, has contributed about 3 or 4 missed tackles because of that huge sidestep of his.
Now Australia with the football just inside their own half. Willie Kahn to play it. Clyde and Lindner could create a lot of havoc. There's a little bit of space created in this second half. Gillespie. He had hold of it, dropped it, had hold of it, dropped it, and in the end the referee said it's knocked back and Australia have still got it.
Well, they're very, very lucky there. I think the referee erred. I thought it was a knock-on.
I would have sworn it was a knock-on. Here's Lindner. There's hand Woodcock pushes off 1, 2, 3 and 4 before he's finally wrapped up. And Australia now starting to have a lot more of the football. And that certainly is evidenced on the scoreboard where, of course, they hold that 8-point margin. For most of the first half, it was tit for tat. But now Australia's starting to control the football a little bit more as the fire's wrapped up. Great tackle, Clyde.
He's having a super game, Bradley Clyde. He seems to be everywhere. He's made a double. Well, he's actually dropped off that tackle, but he's been responsible for an enormous number of hit-ups. He's been chasing the ball. He's been tackling. He's just having a monumental game. He's by far the outstanding Australian forward.
Australia, though, showing this incredible commitment in defence. It's what they went back to in 1990 for the third test at Leeds, and they just shut Great Britain out of that test match. And it seems to me that Fulton's gone back to those tactics again tonight. It's been a very much more committed Australian side. Daly chases Steadman, whose kick just crosses the halfway line, but a good bounce. Eddinghausen 32 metres out from his own line.
And he's had a good game tonight too, under all sorts of pressure. There's Paul Siren and a neck injury that he sustained in that first half. He'd love to be out there having a crack at the Englishman in the second half. Not to be. And his replacement, David Gillespie, is playing very strongly.
So the man sitting next to Siren creates some havoc late too. He's brought on Kevin Walters. Penalty against Great Britain up inside the 5. Well, they can't concede penalties and make handling errors and miss tackles if they're to get back into this game.
Yeah, they're in a little bit of a rut at the moment, the Englishmen. They haven't seen much possession. What possession they have seen has been deep inside their own quarter. The Australians, though, they're really applying the thumb screws. They're controlling the ball. They're hitting very hard in defence, and they don't intend to let the Englishmen get any field position whatsoever.
26 minutes remaining in the test match. 26 minutes remaining in the KFC Battle of the Ashes. And Australia at the moment have a rather tenuous hold on one side of the Ashes trophy as a good run sees Harrigan get it again to the Great Britain quarter line. Langer throws the dummy and no one fell for it. Harrison was in there to effect the tackle with Andy Platt. So was the other replacement, Hume, involved. Fittler. Daly, the little kick in behind the defence. Meninga picks it up brilliantly and Meninga scores! Oh, what a try! What a way to make sure that he goes past Graham Langland's record. A super try from the big fellow. What an incredible show of strength. A magical kick from Daly, magnificently picked up by Big Mal Meninga. Look at this on the KFC replay. Meninga does magnificently, but look at the strength of the man as he takes Edwards and Platt and plants it on the white line. That is a try.
Not only a show of strength, a show of speed, a show of agility for a big man of his size to get down there. And look at this, he just plonks that big arm of his that stretches about 1.5 metres out, and he puts it over the line. But a great combination. Daly and Meninga, they play week in, week out for Canberra. They can read each other's mind, and Mel makes no mistake about this one. And have a look at the pleasure on his face.
Well, that takes him well and truly past Langland's record. What a way to become the outright leader or the outright record holder. It's a try that he'll cherish. He scored a try in every test match on the 1990 Kangaroo Tour. He scored one in the first match, of course, as you remember, a mighty try at the Sydney Football Stadium. He scored another one here tonight at Lang Park. His captaincy sits well with him.
No, I'll tell you what, he was devastated after that second test performance because not only did Australia lose, but he was very, very disappointed with his performance. But a measure of the man was that he owned up and admitted to his lack of form, and he vowed to make amends for that tonight, and he's done that.
Meninga, his 6th kick of the evening. And again, it's pushed out outside the uprights. So Mal Meninga's kicked 4 from 6, but that try should be enough to give Australia the KFC Ashes. Australia 16, leading Great Britain 4, with 23.5 minutes remaining in the series.
Well, it's a 12-point buffer, Dave, but that's 23 minutes is a long time, particularly when you've got the likes of Martin Fire who can run the field in 10 seconds. Anything can happen, but what Australia need to do is just keep kicking that ball down and put Great Britain under pressure. Great Britain, on the other hand, they've got to take risks at every opportunity.
And in the the second half, Australia have been making less errors. That's been the difference so far, as Australia bring it up again through Lazarus.
Australia won't do anything flashy. They don't have to. They'll just hit it up, a couple more tackles, get the big kicking game into order and get a good chase.
Stevie Walters out of dummy half. Good pinch of a good 15, make it 20 metres. Good run.
And that's a sign of fatigue. The Englishman just not getting set in defence early enough.
Gillespie decides to go for a gallop. Still finds support. Steve Walters again to the halfway line. Crowd starting to sing Waltzing Matilda as Daly reefs it downfield, finds the gap between Eastwood and Steadman. Steadman will probably allow it go dead. It does, and play will restart from the centre of the quarter line with the tap kick. And
intelligent kicking there from the Australians as well. Almost invariably in this match, they've kicked to the opposite wing to Martin Fire. They don't want to see a Fire get any room to move from broken play.
And of course, it gives them a chance to set themselves up in defence. And again, look at this, a defensive line of Australia moving up well. Harrison, the big fellow. 12 metres short of the halfway, Great Britain. They're desperate for a four-pointer to keep this Ashes battle going. Hume from the Widnes Club. Tough as teak. Hurled into the ground by the Canberra duo of Daly and Meninga. Edwards, Betts. Great Britain forwards haven't been anywhere near as effective tonight, Wayne. Haven't been allowed to be.
Well, the Australians were on their game from the word go in Melbourne. They were a little bit, I suppose, lacking as far as mental preparation was concerned. Today they came out firing, and the Great Britain side just never got a foot in place.
Morris Lindsay, the brains trust really of Great Britain Rugby League, pondering perhaps that maybe 1995 when Australia next goes over to Great Britain.
Great win against the feed.
That, of course, will be the centenary of rugby league. Might have to wait till then to get their hand back on the trophy. But this man and the man who passed it to him could still change that. A Fire. He's very dangerous. 35 metres out. Edwards wanting to call the shots, but it goes the short side to Platt. And there was no one on that side of the field to give him assistance. But it's a penalty against Australia for up inside the 5 anyway.
Yeah, it's noticeable that in the first half, Dennis Hale was refereeing the game basically to play the ball. And both sides started creeping inside the 5 metres, and it tended to block the attack of both sides out. In the second half, he's been marking the 5 metres. It's opened the game up somewhat. And so far, Australia have been the ones to capitalise on that.
Sean Edwards, Harrison, 11 metres short of the Australian line. As this is where Great Britain get back into this KFC battle for the Ashes. They switch it. They're going down a Fire's side of the field. Schofield in behind the defence, but couldn't get past Meninga. Open side of Fire. Betts on his own. 4 metres out from the Australian line. Well, this is a test of the Great Britain character. Platt goes on his own. Flicks it out the back. Edwards off to a Fire. But the referees ruled there was a little knock on in there.
Yeah, a little pop out the back. They are trying things, which you've got to say that they must do, I suppose, somewhat. There it is, out the back from Platt. And, well...
Couldn't see the knock on.
I couldn't see a knock on either.
I'm not going to knock this referee. I thought he's done a masterful job over the 3 tests.
He's had a very, very strong game tonight as well.
Khan. Penalty against Khan. What was that for? Was that...
Looks like he's indicating a knee there. He's lifted his knee up.
Lifted his knee up in the tackle. Well, fair enough, good refereeing that. As Australia are under pressure again from Clark. And Clark's only 11 metres out. Hume in a dummy half. Steadman tries the little chip and taste. He was knocked down after he put the kick in.
I don't think you can argue with that penalty either, David. There was... yeah, you can see that both Lindner and it looked like Harrigan took a step sideways to impede the progress there of Steadman.
Quick tap. Edwards tries to go straight over Steadman, who's receiving attention. I think Steadman would appreciate it too much. He plays it forward into the in-goal area. Eddinghausen trying to run it back. Great tackle from Betts.
Yeah, fantastic ground there covered by Dennis Betts to get to Andrew Eddinghausen. He has got plenty of pace for a second row forward. But the Englishman sloppy in the play of the balls to have another ball raked back. And as we can see, Dennis Bett made up a lot of ground because Andrew Ettinghausen is super quick.
And Betts has had a pretty big match tonight again too.
Yeah, he's been one of the best performed English forwards.
New Love comes off. We've already seen Skerritt and McGinty be replaced by Hume and Harrison.
So I would imagine Joey Lydon might go on there, or should be on there in the centres.
So Dennis Betts, who's not only hit it up strongly all night, 22 tackles as well, and most of them like that one on Ettinghausen.
Yeah, it's a big effort from Betts.
Knock on. Now, the touch judges come in, so it must be against Hume. In fact, Conley's gone on the field for... Conley's come on as the replacement.
Conley's on.
Instead of Newlove. In fact, the funny thing before the game is the penalty goes Australia's way. Elbow, says the referee against Hume. A few people in the world that wouldn't surprise.
I think the touch judge was a bit closer to some of the crowd who were booing him.
The thing I was about to say about Joe Lydon, he didn't warm up with the Great Britain side. When they all came out, there's only 16 of them came out to warm up. Now, he has had that hamstring problem throughout the tour. I'm just wondering whether, again, it's flared up today. You still think they'd name a reserve, huh?
He might have been guarding the locker room. You never know. Making sure nothing gets pinched.
Australia inside Great Britain's territory. Harrigan. This fellow will remember his first Test series.
He's had a huge season this year, and he just has no fear. He has, in fact, I suppose, no respect for his body. He puts it on the line in every tackle.
Langer. The crowd will go berserk if he scores. 33 metres out from the Great Britain line. Clyde, again trying to step inside the defence. Most New Zealanders will probably remember that incredible try he scored last year at the stadium. The kick has charged down. It's picked up, and Great Britain, in the end, have the movement nipped in the bud. Great work from Betts, but even better work from Meninga.
Yeah, I suppose in the second Test match we wouldn't have seen this happen. We would have seen probably Betts flick it inside to a fire, such as the luck of the game. But today, Mal Meninga at his best, at his peak. He is really having a big match in this, his record-breaking 37th Test match.
And there it is on the KFC scoreboard. 15.5 minutes to go. Australia 16, Great Britain 4. Penalty against Australia.
And Steve Waters is saying, hang on, we don't give penalties away in scrums in Australia. What are you doing?
I think there's a few players that would like to see it come back, though.
Gives you a breather, I know that.
So Great Britain are still not done with yet. They've got time, but they need to score fairly shortly, and they're not going to if Australia continue to tackle like that. Meninga and Lindner that time. Clark runs into Lazarus. Low was Gillespie. 32 metres out from the Australian line. Hume, Edwards, wrapped up beautifully, ball and all by Clyde. Betts from dummy half. Again, the defence is strong. Lazarus and Walters this time. Dermott, short side. Schofield, the chip over the top. Back there, Khan takes it beautifully. And Khan, can he slip away from Powell? He has. He's slipped right away from them. He's back to the quarter line before he's crunched to the ground. Well, there's the key to the game. Great Britain starting to fall off tackles, and Australia starting to skip away with this KFC Ashes decider as Hancock's down injured.
Yeah, Malcolm really will be a bit disappointed at the moment because he can coach teams as far as tactics are concerned and combinations concerned, but he can't coach them to not miss tackles, and that's exactly what Great Britain are doing. It's what's cost them a 12-point deficit at the moment.
On the KFC replay, you notice Hancock was really manhandled. Got one to go in with from Dermott as well, and I'm not sure that. I don't think that's the problem. It was an awkward tackle, and he was awkwardly positioned when he hit the ground. This is Harrigan. Daly, all the time in the world to get it to Ettinghausen, who has even more time to put his kick downfield, and Stedman tried to take it as if he was playing for St Kilda. He still managed to come up with a football. I've never seen Langer miss a tackle like that. But Stedman probably wished he'd made it. As Meninga finished him off. Very rare Langer missed the tackle on a chase.
And he's always the first man there too, Alan Langer. He's a very fit halfback.
A fire. He's not going to get away from Fittler. And on the quarter line, a fire will get up and play it. And a penalty against Hancock. A fire came in, and now Eastwood wants to go on with it. And the referee very quickly comes in and calms it down.
If I was,
he's done a good job here.
If I was Paul Eastwood, I wouldn't be picking on Glenn Lazarus, that's for sure. He's giving away about 5 stone in weight and a fair bit in reach as well.
I think Glenn can throw him too. I've seen him working on the bag a few times. Now you find a fire here, flung into the ground by Fittler, but on the KFC replay, what Hancock does really is unnecessary, I suppose. Yeah. He came in with a bit of a forearm as well, so that was almost a high tackle from Harrigan. Flat played it. Edwards, a deep line here. Schofield, quickly, on it goes. Powell to Conley, can't get it to a fire. Great defence again from Eddinghausen, and Khan decides to sit on his face as well. I don't know whether that's a sort of Willie Khan facial. He's taking it up now is Harrison. Desperation time for Great Britain. Now a fires into a bit of space and he falls over his own man. Edwards went one way, a fire went the other. They didn't read each other's mind.
Yeah, that comment's got me offside. I don't know what. I've divorced myself from that comment before, so what's that?
33 metres out. And the kick from Steadman is for no one. Eastwood wasn't expecting it, and Eddinghausen under no pressure can easily run it back 11 metres out from his own line. 11 and a half minutes remaining. Bradley Clyde still playing strongly. Clyde down to the halfway. Clyde looking for support. Finds it in Hancock, who knocks it on.
If there's a better forward in the world at the moment than Bradley Clyde, then I'm yet to see him. He can, not only is he 105 kilograms, but he can run as quick as most centres. And Hancock there snatched at the ball. There was a try gone begging because Hancock had a free run to the line if he had taken that.
And about 7 in support. Edwards, Schofield, Powell. 8 metres Australia's side of halfway. Schofield brings it back Edwards' side. Steadman, quick hands, finds Betts, and a bad pass. Eastwood was never going to get that. He was virtually into touch. Betts just ran out of room. He made sure that Eastwood had none.
Well, for 60 minutes of this game, as we see the pass here again, no chance whatsoever for Paul Eastwood. For 60 minutes of this game, the Englishmen tried to take on the Australians up the middle, reverse passes, short passes on the outside. It didn't work. Now, at all costs, they're trying to take them on out wide, but the Australian defence is forcing errors such as that one.
Hancock, 10 metres his own side of halfway. Bobby Lindner.
The Aussies doing it in a canter here, Dave. I mean, they don't have to take any risks. They're making 5 and 10 metres at every play of the ball. The Englishmen very tired. They're not moving up in defence. I can't see any way out for the Pommies at this stage.
Langer. Harrigan, I'm not sure whether he knocked it on at all. It didn't make any difference because Great Britain have come up with the football. And the long floated past, if a fire can take it, he's got a bit of room on the outside of Khan, but the referee's ruled it forward anyway.
Once again, I think a good refereeing decision there from Hale, Dennis Hale. We have a look at the KFC replay and we see that we can use the line as a gauge. And, well, there wasn't much in it. Wasn't much in it, but probably marginally forward.
They go the short side. Eddinghausen, Meninga. Edwards did well with Harrison. 10 metres inside Great Britain's half. Lindner. Midway half and quarter line. Down Great Britain's end of the field. Langer brings Clyde on the inside again. Again he gets through the first line of defence.
I reckon he'll sleep well tonight, Bradley Clyde. He's been in absolutely everything. Alan Langer and he are working a great combination up the centre of the rucks there. And here goes Fittler again.
And Fittler's still going. Bradley Fittler only 8 metres short of the line. Hancock the dummy half. Langer again. Langer, the little chip into the in-goal area, was flattened by Edwards. And in the end, Steadman has to force the ball. But I'm not quite sure whether Edwards was only turning. I'll have a look at it again. Well, he got one to go on with Alfie as well. But I'm not quite sure whether there was a passage through there. And Steadman almost losing that ball as Daly came through.
I think referee Dennis Hale was in no man's land anyway. He'd been knocked over by Steadman. He didn't know what went on.
I think in the end that Langer would have had to run right over the top of Edwards anyway, but he's certainly got a bit of help from Edwards. Khan feels the ball and brings it back for Australia. And Willie Khan, this crowd love him here. He's lost the football, knocked back, and did well to find Daly in support again. Well, if Australia didn't get the rub of the bounce and everything in Melbourne last week, they've certainly got it tonight. Lazarus.
Yeah, it's been an awesome display by the Aussies tonight. They haven't made too many errors whatsoever. Their forwards have played well. Their backs, particularly Mal Meninga out wide, has really driven home the advantage that the forwards have created.
Here's a chance now. Daly brings Meninga down the centre. Off it lows, Eddinghausen again. They've still got support. They decide to go down the centre through Bobby Lindner, and Lindner's only a metre short. Australia with a chance again if they move it quickly this side of the field. Hancock spots it. So does Langer. Langer goes on his own, and Langer felled in a good tackle, only a metre out, but it's a penalty for a high one. And again, a couple of players going on with it. As Gillespie came in and Sean Edwards had a bit of a set too behind the goal line.
And Alfie Langer still having a bit of a wrestle there. It looks like Graham Stedman, is it? No, Darryl Powell. I think they were just saying, we're going to have a beer after the game, mate. This Ashes is over. No real malice in that, I don't think.
Yeah, Chris Johns has come on. Bobby Lindner has come off.
Looks like Gary Schofield limping off in the background as well.
Gary Schofield goes off. Eddinghausen goes off. Willie Kahn's off. Eddinghausen's off.
Well, that's not a real good sign for the Englishmen on the eve of their New Zealand tour. Gary Schofield limping off.
Not the way he's played too. He's played magnificent football. Eddinghausen gets a pat from the Sheriff. Langer. Away it comes now to a man they call the Chief, Harrigan. He's 10 metres out from the line. Walt was a dummy half. Lazarus. Meninga. Out the back, it was flicked. It's been towed through by a fire. Picked up by Conley. Lost by Conley. It'll be a scrum for a couple of knock-ons. Schofield there.
Looks like an ankle and a knee injury. Looks like a knee injury there.
He's in a bit of pain too. So Schofield with a knee problem. Kevin Walters on the field. Out it comes. Daly decides to go on his own. Now here's Clyde again. Where's he come from this time?
There's got to be 3 Clydes on the field. I don't think one man could be doing that much work.
Only 5 minutes left in the game. Australia have got the Ashes all sewn up. As Johnny Cartwright gets within 10 metres of the line. Out wide, Langer. Kevin Walters. Meninga. That was good bit of football from Great Britain. If the bounce goes to a fire, he will score. Here he goes. Chariots of fire. They won't catch him. He's in under the posts. Well, he finally had to get somewhere where he could streak away. He scores the try. Eastwood's dashing up to take the quick kick.
With a conversion to come, that'll make it 16 points to 10. We've still got a ball game on our hands.
Well, here on the KFC replay, Meninga tried the quick hands. It was a great bit of tackling. I think Dermott might have been the one who first forced the error. Towed through, and there was no catching Martin. Chariots of fire. And he was away and under the sticks to score the try that at least gives Great Britain still some hope. They can't win the Ashes, you wouldn't think, without an 8-point try, because the best they could hope for was a draw, and Australia still hold the Ashes.
Yeah, I think the Ashes are safe, but I mean, this last 4 minutes or 3 minutes, 50 seconds will be something to look forward to, because there's no doubt the Englishmen will throw it around as soon as they receive it.
So Eastwood from right in front, the chance to make it 3 from 3 for him. He bangs it over, so he converts the fire try. And on the KFC scoreboard, Australia leading Great Britain 16-10. 3.5 minutes remain in the match. Eastwood has 3 from 3.
And it looks as though the Australians are in no hurry whatsoever. They want to see this clock tick down, and understandably so. There's no doubt that this kick well, the kick-off will be as deep as they can possibly get it. They don't want to give any field position away to the Englishmen at all.
Meninga brings it back to the halfway for the restart. 3 minutes remain in this KFC battle for the Ashes. One would think the Ashes are safe, but the Test series could still finish in a draw. Australia won the first in Sydney. Great Britain won the second in Melbourne. And here at Lang Park, as Gary Schofield, the Great Britain skipper, looks on, Great Britain could still salvage a draw. Just 6 points the margin. Edwards, he's tried valiantly. The wide ball. Now here's Lydon. He's finally come on. Stedman. Dermott. Edwards. They're trying to get it to a fire again. He decides to hoist it high. A fire's there. So too was Chris Johns. And in the end, Daly it is who scoops it up and is pushed across the touchline. That won't worry Laurie too much.
Well, it could actually, because the Englishman would get a feed from this particular scrum. If he had let it go out, then which he probably maybe he could have let it go out there, because if it did go out, the Australians would have had the feed. But as it turns out, the Englishmen have now got possession.
I think he was more worried about a bounce going a Fire's way than anything else, to be honest. As Conley brings it back to the halfway. Good defence from Australia stops him in the centre of the field. Clyde was there and so was Kevin Walters. Stedman tries a little chip and chase, but who's there to save the day? Alan Langer. 1 minute 40 left on the clock in this KFC battle for the Ashes decider. Australia leads 16-10. Meninga in his 37th Test match passes Reg Gasnier's record. The most number of appearances in Test football. That's not including World Cup games. And on top of that, he also passed Graham Langland's Anglo-Australian point-scoring record with a try and already 4 goals for the evening.
This game shaped up as a battle of the Australians' power against the Englishman's skill, and as it's turned out and as it's unfolded, the Australians' power tonight has won the day. The Englishmen valiant in defeat, but nevertheless, Australia too good.
And so here they go on the last tackle, and little Kevy Walters puts it on the left boot. Stedman goes back. Stedman, he almost lost it completely before forcing it dead. And Australia will get the ball back from the line drop out, and that will be the series. Great Britain go to take on Gary Freeman's New Zealanders. The kick from Walters, and Stedman had to have a couple of goes at this before he finally forced it dead. Of course, first of all, New Zealand take on New Guinea on Sunday. There was a knock on there, but the referees let it go as Harrigan was knocked rotten after that short dropout. Now, can they pull a miracle out of the hat and score in the last 10 seconds of the game? 16-10 the scoreline. Sean Edwards, they surely will try and work it to a Fire's win.
There's the countdown.
Counts it down. As there's a kick. It's not the best kick in the world because it'll find touch. And that is the Test match. That is the Test series. Those two fellas, I think, will be going back to Great Britain in a couple of years' time. But a couple of warriors such as Bobby Lindner and Mal Meninga may not. I'm not saying they won't, but there's a couple out there who've played more than a couple of series against Great Britain, and they've put it together tonight when it mattered. Mal Meninga, his 37th Test match. If he isn't the man of the match tonight, Bradley Clyde surely is. But perhaps even sentiment will give it to Mal Meninga. He scored a try, he kicked 4 from 6, and he put in a mighty effort in defence and lifted Australia when it needed lifting.
Full credit to the Englishmen, though. They tried their hardest in this series. I mean, they were against the odds going into the second match. They lifted themselves, put the pressure back on the Australians, but the Australians lifted themselves for this match. That man there, Mal Meninga, he was the man. He was the cornerstone.
So Meninga is a very happy man, and the Australian and Great Britain players start to exchange jumpers. And so Australia take the KFC battle for the Ashes with a 16-10 victory in the third Test. Daly and Meninga scoring the tries. Meninga kicking 4 from 6. A Fire scoring that late try for Great Britain. And Eastwood a perfect record tonight, 3 from 3. A good performance from Great Britain, but they'll have to wait till 1995 when Australia travel to Great Britain for the centenary of rugby league to see whether they can finally get that Ashes trophy back, which Australia has held since 1973. Great Britain last won it in 1970. on behalf of Bill Anderson, Gary Freeman and Wayne Pearce, who've been the guest commentators and the expert commentators throughout this KFC battle for the Ashes. This is David Morrow handing you back to what should be a fairly happy studio after what has been 3 memorable games.
TV3 Sport, in association with KFC, proudly presented the Battle for the Ashes.
Played the role, cross-court back.